Disney's latest live action movie is here, and this time it is Snow White. This is a movie that is so iconic that the original shaped the very future of animation. But do we need a new one? Are we all sitting around and be like, you know what I really need is a live action Snow White? Movie reviewer Jason Gorber joins me now to tell us about whether this is, you know what, this is a fresh take on Snow White, or maybe feels a bit like a cash grab. Good morning, Jason. How you doing, pal?
Well, why can't it be both? Why can't it be a cash grab and a fresh take?
Yeah, you're like,
I mean, it's not.
You're an equal opportunity
It's not a fresh
guy.
take.
Okay,
I mean,
well,
sort of
get
a
into
fresh
it.
take.
Get into it. The original Snow White, I mean, listen, that's an absolute classic. That's an all-timer. Does this new one even need to exist?
I think we got to talk about why the original Snow White is an all-timer, as you put it.
Yeah.
So Snow White is the first ever feature-length animated film from America. It is what made Disney Disney. It defines that sort of, what they did was they took classic stories, in this case, stories from Brothers Grimm. So, I mean, the whole general irony is that Disney, who completely transformed copyright law, took things that were out of copyright and then revitalized them for a new generation. So the original Snow White is stunning achievement of technical proportions, of aesthetic proportions, artistry. The story's fine. I mean, 100 years later, it's like, okay, so there's some dwarves and there's a Snow White and she dances and it's fine. But nobody watches the original Snow White and go, oh my God, what we needed was a whole bunch of improvements to the narrative. But we live in an age where people are looking back on it and thinking maybe the story is a little reductive. Maybe a woman who befriends a bunch of seven short people that happen to be named their characteristics, sort of in the pre-Smurf era. And then we get this version of the story. So what we have here is yet another Disney quote-unquote live-action film that has, more animation than most animated films. and you have an expansion, but truly, unlike, let's say, Lion King, which is just redoing Lion King, and unlike Aladdin, which is redoing Aladdin, which, like, what are you doing? This one, at least, has completely transformed the storyline, has added new characters, has added tons of new songs, is produced by Mark Platt, the guy behind Wicked, the guy behind Evan Hansen, has music by a whole bunch of impressive people. And, the film's fine. It's fine. Everyone's upset about it, but the film's fine.
What I appreciate about you is that you're like, well, before I talk to you about this new movie, let's talk about the old one. Because what you're really telling me is there's not a lot to say about this new movie. It's fine. I went in, I sat down, the movie rolled, and then it ended. Now, I want to talk about Rachel Zegler for a moment because she's the star of this.
Sure.
She plays Snow White. And I feel like Rachel Zegler, stars on the rise. People are excited about this performance. People are excited about her. How does she do?
West Side Story. I'm going to talk about an old movie.
Yeah, you're like, you want to watch a Rachel Zegler performance? Don't do this one. You should go Steven Spielberg's West Side Story.
Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, glorious. She's amazing in it.
Yes.
She can sing. She's very good. She's charismatic. She plays the role. It's fine. She has imbued the character with a lot more humanity than this character has ever had, which is great.
That's an improvement.
Literally animated, it was a two-dimensional character. See what I did there?
Don't literally me. It's too early in the morning.
So now she provides a three-dimensionality to the character by being,
by being a
human, instead of being the cell-drawn animation. So yeah, she's very good. But I will tell you something. Like, look, Gal Gadot plays the evil queen.
Yeah.
And sometimes people have been genetically engineered to play specific roles. She's great. She looms over Rachel, who's, I think, 3'4". So Gal Gadot, who is 7'11", right? So just looks giant basketball-sized looming model thing.
Sure.
Is fantastic as Evil Queen, but let me tell you who the real star of this movie is.
I can't wait.
Is a woman named Sandy Powell. Now, you might not know Sandy Powell. A
I
lot
don't.
of people don't know Sandy. Sandy Powell is a multiple Oscar-winning costume designer. And Sandy Powell has done everything. She's worked with a Coen Brothers. She's done everything. Years of incredible costume work. And the way that she dresses Rachel Zegler is fantastic. The flowing costume, absolutely, I'm going to use the word redolent, absolutely redolent of the original animated form. The way that it flows almost feels like it's hand-drawn, but it's actually clothing. But the way the Gal Gadot's character, the way that the evil queen is in the costumes that are absolutely evocative of the hand-drawn animation, but work in real space, is unbelievable. So as crazy as it is, the most effective thing, not the music, not the direction, which is fine. The guy, it's Mark Webb, the guy who also, his name's Mark Webb. He did the Spider-Man movies. But Mark Webb, that's fine. The direction's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
But the extraordinary part, the part that really genuinely works about this movie, of all things, is the costumes. So if you want to go in and look at very pretty people doing very pretty things, you got Snow White.
That's not nothing. That's I can think of worse things to do on a weekend. So I don't mind that at all. With about a minute left, Jason, why are we getting so many live action remakes of movies?
They make billions of dollars.
Okay, well that's a short
They make
answer.
lots of money.
Okay.
But also in this one, if there's any of them that actually sort of is ripe for reimagination, I guess that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
This one is not such a bad one to do because, again, the original is pretty straightforward. And what they've done with this by taking the quote-unquote Prince character, making him a little bit more interesting, is a little bit more sort of Frozen-y in a funny way. By expanding that, by expanding the music, you really are making this film for a new generation, as they say. You know, it's like a soft drink in marketing. And yes, we can be completely cynical about this. We can completely dismiss it, like, why are we bothering doing this? Because people are hungry for this stuff. And so if you're going to make it, at the very least, make it with a tremendous amount of craft and a tremendous amount of care. And to its benefit, the songs are okay. I didn't love them, but they're certainly well done. They're done by the people who did Dear Evan Hansen and did Great Showman and all that stuff. Plus the original songs, Whistle While You Work, Hi Ho and stuff like that have been elevated. But it's not like it's a techno version. It's not like a hip-hop version. It's just a classic, straight-up musical version, not dissimilar to Wicked that the Mark Platt, the producer, also did. But very much of that style. So I think people will go with their families, they'll enjoy it, you'll have a bit of nostalgia, you have a bit of good performances, and you'll sit there and go like, oh my God, these costumes look amazing. That's where you're going to get a Snow White.
I'll tell you this, the live action remakes for me, my kid, big fan of the Mufasa remake, which I don't think anyone's sitting around saying, you know what I want is a live action Mufasa. And then we got it. And my kid and I sometimes make fun of the song My Brother in that movie.
It's a terrible song.
It's a terrible song. However, they say the word brother in a very interesting way. And now it has replaced the regular way I say that word. So Jason Gorber, maybe no one's asking for these live action remakes, but my child is. And by God, that's good enough. Jason, thank you.
It's terrible song, but your kid loves it, and that's exactly why they're remaking these films.
My very own child is the reason for the existence of these movies. Yikes. Okay, I gotta let you go. Jason Gorber is Metro Morning's movie columnist and the editor-in-chief of ThatShelf.com. Disney's new live-action Snow White is in theaters today.
ThatShelf.